Hi everyone, this is Carmen Dalman. I have a friend of mine today who I'm gonna interview. His name is Micky Cruz. He's a multi-award winning and he plays cumbia. He's a musician and he sings and he performs everywhere. You should go and dance and check it with him. Welcome, Micky. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning, good night, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. Maybe you're watching us from across the world. You might be asleep, waking up. Anyways, greetings to all of you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the opportunity, Carmen.
No, it's a pleasure to have you. I mean, we met a while back.
It's
Now, like a decade.
It's been years.
It was before my boy, right?
Yes.
So it's almost like 10 years.
Uh-huh.
10 years. Oh my God, time flies.
Yes.
So I'm so excited to hear your story. I remember, if you want to share it, obviously, how I'd like to know everything. Well, let's start from the beginning. How did you end up in the U.S.?
Well, it's actually a long trajectory. Let me start from the very beginning. Give you a little background of how I made it to the United States. Basically, I'm an orphan. I was told that my father was part of the American military and was stationed in Nicaragua. And so I was born there, but when I was approximately 7 years old, some people came and killed the family, and somebody was able to.
But it was like military or the government?
I was only 2 years old, so I really don't know.
2 years old.
Somebody found me, and so I.
Where did you hide?
I don't know. They said that I wasn't able to talk, and I don't know if I was traumatized or what, but they got me out of there, and I was raised with my fathers until I was 7, and then from 7, I ran away, and that's how the whole thing started. Because
from the orphanage?
No, from where my father left me.
So your dad survived, or like?
I have no idea. I lost contact completely with everyone. So basically, as soon as I left at around 7 years old, I had to pretty much survive in the streets for myself. And that's how music started. Music, I noticed that some kids would sing for spare change on the street corners, playing buckets or playing guitar, whatever instruments they were able to play. So I decided and realized that that was something that I could do.
So you weren't going to school? Like,
no,
like you were
no.
Like
I was barely lucky enough to get food every other day or once a week. So
no way.
yeah, and so, but music became a part of my life because I just did what other kids were doing and get on the city
So your
bus.
life technically introduced you to music, and you didn't even know what that was.
Right. Like sometimes people would say, well, what was your inspiration? What music inspiration was hunger. When you're hungry, you pretty much will do anything
so you will
to
like
survive.
play music to
Right.
be able to eat.
I decided that if I played music, people would give me spare change for that and for my performance, and that's what I used to buy food.
But that was in South America, right? Like
This
in
was
in
Guatemala, in Mexico, and
So
over.
so when you ran away, you crossed the
borders.
The borders.
Mm-hmm.
You were going from one country to another.
I was too little. I really didn't think much of borders. All I did was just walk around, meet people, whoever offered me food.
So it was a rough childhood.
Yeah.
So
Whoever had food,
maybe-
I went there.
But at the same time, those things, as rough as it sounds and horrible, it makes you grow and it makes you mature in a
Yeah,
early
you have to
age.
mature fast, and you have to learn to survive pretty fast. I mean, I wouldn't want my children to go through that because it's not easy. But for me, it was good in a way because I learned to survive quick, and I didn't have a choice. It's just the way I grew up. up.
Wow.
And I continued music. I just
So from jumping from country to country, you end up in the U.S. like that. Just
I actually didn't have any plans to come to the U.S. I didn't even plan or anything. It just happened that I met a friend of mine. I met a guy in Juarez, and then he offered me to stop by and visit him sometime, and so I did.
how old?
But I was probably like 12.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
But you already learned to play the guitar.
Yeah, the way I met him was that I was in Juarez. I was playing on the street corners, or I got off the city bus, and when I got off, they have those, they call them puestos de la loncheras in Juarez, where they sell
taco trucks, like
the taco
like
trucks.
street,
Yeah,
yeah, when you
Uh-huh.
go on.
they had them all over. I don't know if they still do, but so they had colita de pavos, flautas, whatever you wanted, and he was standing there. He saw me with the guitar, obviously. He asked me to sing me a song, and so I told him I'd trade you a song for a sandwich.
Yeah.
So he said, sure, no problem. And so we ended up talking, and then he offered me. He says, hey, if you ever cross the border, just stop by my house, and I'll give you the address and phone number. So yeah, the next day I showed up at his door and stopped by to say hi, and then I came back, and then I went back, and it was no big deal back then. It was just, kids were just
and you
yeah.
were 12, so it's like
a lot of kids that come over the weekend to Juarez, they go back, and the trick was just say American, and I thought that was the password.
and you didn't know any English whatsoever. Like you didn't know.
Not really, no. But I heard other kids say American, and say, oh, that's the password, American. I said,
Oh
okay, cool.
wow! It was that easy.
And I just dressed like them, and simple enough.
Yeah.
Confidence.
No, yeah, you have to own it, right? Like fake it until you make it.
So I went back and forth, and then.
Making friends on all the patrols. Back and forth. Hey, it's me.
But yeah, but when you're at that age, really, you don't think about anything else. So you're just surviving. You're just trying to live a decent life. So then I was able to meet some other people that were able to help me out, and they found a family for me that through social services, and they realized I was an orphan. So
Foster care.
yeah, so I was sent all the way to upstate New York, and
Wow, from New York to New Mexico. So
yeah, and so then
from
yeah, I
Juarez
went
to
all the way to
New
New York.
York.
Foster family. I went to high school up there for a couple of months, and then I decided to visit New Mexico. California actually was my goal, but I didn't make it. Got tired, so I just stayed here. Met some people here, and
How do you start growing in your music? Like how you started getting to know your talent? How did you start performing, connecting?
Well, when I arrived in Albuquerque, obviously I didn't know anyone, and it was rough trying to work because I didn't have a guardian. So, but I did have a guitar with me, and so I met some people that were able to connect me with people that let me play music. I ended up in the Hacienda restaurant in Old Town, and they were kind enough to give me a job there as a guitar player, and that's how the whole thing started. I met a nice lady that gave me the opportunity to be a part of an event that she was promoting. It was called Celebrate Youth, and so I went with her, and she helped me out that weekend. She told me that I could perform if I wanted to, so I did, and then PBS was interested in my story, my video, my performance, so they aired that on TV. And then from there, somebody from Nashville, Channel 1, was interested in my story, so then I decided that there was an opportunity for me to pursue, and they told me that I could perform.
We need to do one of those TV series from those, have you seen like this Miguel TV series? Like
Right.
Vicente Fernandez, we have to put you on Netflix.
Right.
It's a really interesting story.
Yeah, from there, some of the people were interested in the story, so I went to high schools and performed music. I told my story, and it became an inspirational story, and so they would pay me for that. And I said, well, this is great. This is working out for me.
But isn't that amazing how life removes something from you, but it gives you something in return?
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel like we're miserable. We lost it all. But it's that balance, you know, in life.
Yeah, there's always something.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's how the whole thing started. And everything just financially started working out great for me, and then there was a program at Univision at Miami, Primer Impacto, that got a hold of my story. They flew all the way from Miami to do a story with me, so all of a sudden I was nationwide, worldwide, through Primer Impacto, the story, and from there, I was at a TV station, Univision as well. I met the legendary rock and roll fame, Bob Ripley. He offered me to record a CD or a cassette back in the day at his studio, so I went over there, you know, and he's, of course, well known, very famous. That also helped me out, and so just the whole thing just evolved little by little. Then they put me in a lot of different magazines with people, the girl that won the Olympics in '94, I believe. So rubbing elbows with all the famous already, from sleeping on the street to having the opportunity to meet all these amazing musicians, Olympics. I got to play for former Governor King, and through him I was also able to play for Hugh Downs. He had his national show at a hotel there by the airport. So I got to meet him. I got to play for President W. Bush, play for Vice President Cheney. So I was able to pretty much play with a lot of dignitaries and
how lucky you are.
yeah, and so just music has always been part of my entire life. Music has been my savior, because I was able to eat doing music to survive.
But for being that young and for all this stuff that happened to you, you were really clever and smart enough to find a way of surviving. Because I don't know, it's tough to be on the streets without not knowing. There's a bunch of homeless here. I can see it.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder what's happening, you know?
There's a lot of issues. Not all of us make it out alive. A lot of people don't have the opportunities. They never find the opportunities. A lot of people can't handle to get out because it could be because of drug abuse, alcoholism. So a lot of different reasons. You know, there's just people that even though they want to and they attempt to get out of that kind of life, it's impossible for them because alcoholism.
You're right. They get introduced to drugs, to alcohol, to all of these things, and then they get lost because they're carrying this weight of loss, or like most of the people who become addicted to something.
Yeah.
It's because we have an issue.
And that's what makes it hard for them. I understand them because I have been there. I know what that life is like.
What would you suggest? What would you like? I don't know. Advise to these people how to get off the streets? Because
they need help, but also you have to want to be helped. If you don't want the help, or you don't try hard to be helped, then there's no help for you because you have to want it. Some people can't because of drug addictions, because of alcoholism, could be, yeah, and of course there's people also that just, they get used to a certain way of life and they're comfortable with it, they just don't want to. It's just,
Well, but in your case, you're shown as someone who is strong enough and smart enough to make the right decisions because you didn't have any family.
Right.
So that makes it even more like harder to get off.
yeah,
And some of these people have families. Makes me wonder what are they doing to help them, or it's just like what you say, their own decision to stay there, which I understand.
yeah.
It's once you hit that route, it's really difficult to come out of that.
Yeah, only God knows what their circumstances are,
Yeah.
but I know it's not easy because I've gone through it.
And I bet, correct me if I'm wrong, but I bet like according to your experience, that make you more like human. Is that right? Like you said, you understand them. So you grew up in an early age by all these things that happened to you. So
There are a lot of opportunities, and that's not easy to get. Very few of us get the opportunity. I believe that music saved my life. How do I explain this? So, you teach Emiliano certain skills,
manners or like
certain skills
yeah.
at a young age, and if he was ever in a situation that's homelessness or didn't have you or dad,
Yeah.
at least he would have something. So perhaps a lot of these people don't have the skills,
But they might have something.
but they might have something else.
Painting or
Yeah,
cleaning or like
exactly.
cutting hair or I don't know.
I remember in
I don't
Mexico, I used to hang out with other kids, and I remember they gave me a little bottle of gasoline, and so you would put gasoline in your mouth, and with a piece of cloth, and you just blow fire on the street, and so you do your little show. Some of them were great at juggling, so they would juggle for spare change. I did gasoline. I was not good at doing that, so I burned myself a few times.
Oh,
But-
it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Don't play with fire.
So I did. A lot of people do a lot of different tricks. Here's a little bit different. I don't see that as often. Mostly I see them with the sign. But again, we don't know their lives. We don't know their story. We don't know their background. So it's hard to really say.
Judge.
Yeah,
It's better
judge.
not to,
Yeah.
right? It's better
It's
not
just
to.
hard because we don't
Because
know.
we're here right now, and who knows what's gonna happen with us.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. I
Yeah.
have met people who are rich, and then the next day they lose everything.
Yeah. And then you hear stories also like
yeah.
on you hear stories that people actually, some of those people actually have money. That I mean, no me consta.
Yeah,
Like I said, no me consta. It's
I'm
not.
not a witness, but I have heard
they have
stories
money.
about that. Yeah.
But there's no way
That's all
to
they do.
know. It's really, I can't judge because, like I said, I've come from there. I know what it's like. It's not easy, and so all we can do is just pray for them, and hopefully that somebody will help them out.
And be nice to them too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly. So about music, you started with cumbia, or did you start with like playing just?
I play pretty much whatever people want to hear. I remember a guy asked me. He said because I was playing from table to table with my guitar by myself, and people were kind to me. They were very nice and tipped me and all this. But he said, Do you know any country music? And I said, not really, I don't know. He says, how about Marty Robbins? And I said, what song? And he said, El Paso.
Impossible.
And so I went and asked around what song that was. I learned it, and then he came back and he said, if you learn it, I'll give you $100 in credit. So I learned it, like maybe a verse of it and just played it for
Just
him.
please him too, right?
So just enough.
You to get 100.
Just enough. So I played it for him, and so basically that was a lesson for me to not get discouraged. And some kids say, oh, I don't listen to that type of music, oh, I don't like that music. No, you have, if you want to survive, if you love music, listen to everything. Listen to jazz, listen to rancheras, listen to flamenco, listen to tango, listen to everything. Enrich yourself, give yourself the opportunity to learn everything that this world has to offer, because you never know.
Well, if that's your route, I think if that's your goal on your dream, becoming a singer or a musician, I totally agree with you, because I have heard stories like, for example, Taylor Swift, that she started with country actually, and she ended up with pop. So to be educated and have the knowledge and be ready for that opportunity that might come, that way you're like, I'm here, right?
Right.
You got it. Instead of like, oh, let me go to school, let me go to YouTube, let me YouTube it.
Right.
That's a great advice.
Yeah, just learn everything you can, embrace it, and you never know when you might need that. I see it as have all the toys and whistles in your pocket, because somebody might ask you and say, oh, let me see what I got here.
And you can improvise, and you can
you
get
have
it.
to
It's like languages, bilinguals. Like, when I moved here, I was like, okay, if I'm gonna live here, this is it. TV, radio, friends, English. Because I need to survive in this country. I need to learn how to find and argue.
Yeah. Even though it might not be easy, learn the language. To all my compatriotas out there, do the best that you can. Just learn as much as you can.
Especially when you decide to come here. I mean, like I have met people who they decided to come here and they've been living here for over 20 years and they don't speak English. And I'm like, how
do you survive?
How you were so brave to decide to make the decision to live in a different country, leave your family, because it takes courage. It's not easy, right? Like I'm gonna leave my hometown, everything that I know, and my family, cross the border, get here, and then how come then you don't decide to learn English? That's something that doesn't make that much of a sense to me. But
different circumstances, different ways of thinking, I guess. But superarse, learn as much as you can, improve yourself.
Exactly. So what happened to that Micky Cruz that you just were telling me about, being on like with the president and with the TV stations? What happened to him? Like, where is he? What happened?
Not
judging, I'm just curious.
So what happened?
What happened to you? Like, tell us.
There are a lot of different things in the music industry. There was a time during the recession where everything, like everybody seemed to have so much money. Everybody would just would spend money left and right. They go to restaurants, they go to vacations. All the corporations, Kodak, American Express, government agencies, they were having parties left and right.
Yeah, the appearance of, because of the industry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of companies, almost every company that had, say, a few employees, they would have a Christmas party. I mean, there were Christmas parties galore. Every musician was playing at Christmas parties, conventions, and restaurants. It was just an economy that was just booming. Um, I was fortunate enough to have played for a lot of these major corporations. I even traveled to play conventions. Uh, Life was great. Then all of a sudden, boom, 9/11,
9/11.
911,
Okay.
the
The
towers came, and the whole country almost kind of like
Collapsed.
COVID
Yeah.
collapsed. People were not traveling via airplane, or they were not traveling at all because they were scared, to be in an airplane. They were scared to spend their money because they were thinking, what's going to happen? Are we going to get attacked again? Save your money, save your money. They started to.
People fear. The same thing that
Fear.
happened with COVID. The
Exactly.
The fear of like, yeah.
And there goes my job.
With
All
all
of this-
of it.
All of it. Record
So
companies.
you lost like contracts and you lost because they were like
Yeah,
missing events.
no, they were
and
no longer, companies were no longer having Christmas events or company parties. They were holding on to their money. There was not enough work, and so it was a chain of things that if I'm not working, or if the company is not getting enough business, if the airline company is not making money because not too many people are flying out, just the whole economy just came down
crashed.
to yeah.
But I remember 9/11. It was way that was a little bit before Facebook and all this social media stuff. So I think that also changed things, right? No, or am I?
It was a complete overhaul in not just in the general industry, conventions and business, but also it was it took several years in the music industry, especially because music is not a priority.
No,
It's not a
food,
priority.
it is. I mean, I need.
It's not a priority for a lot of companies
to
or
survive.
business or
Exactly.
and so we suffered. A lot of the record companies decided to let their artists go. I knew some artists that were signed with Sony. They were signed with Capitol Records. Capitol Records just shut down. I mean, they have the building in Hollywood, but there were no artists under their catalogs anymore. The president moved his office to his house. There was no.
To cut corners, yeah.
A
to save
lot of
money.
artists that were big, they were dropped, and so all of a sudden, a lot of these famous artists that were making it didn't have representation. They didn't have record companies. If you don't have a record label, you can't make it. And then a lot of we tried to survive. A lot of us musicians would try to say, okay, now since I don't have a record label, I'm gonna start my own record label. Okay, what good does it do to have a record label if you don't have distribution?
Or the publish, to publish it, to release it, to like put it out there on the radios, and
Exactly.
you need to be represented too.
I was able to go to every part of the country and have the opportunity to meet program directors one-on-one. Hi, my name is Micky, and I'm an artist. I have a CD. Just wanted to meet you, and please, if you could, consider for airplay. And you will get to meet a lot of those people. The executives decided that why do we need a program director and pay him thousands of dollars when we could just hire one? One guy can do the
Job of 4.
the job of 20
Wow.
program directors around the country. That guy lives in Los Angeles. Nobody knows him, and the ones that know him are lucky because. But then that's how payola became a problem.
So, but you didn't quit music. I mean, it hit you, right? But
It hit me. I didn't quit music. it didn't affect me. When you come from the bottom and you go back to the
Exactly.
bottom,
That's
you
what I
know,
was gonna ask you.
it doesn't affect you because
Yeah,
you already
you've
been there.
so you know what is going. You know what's going on. It's
Exactly.
Like, okay,
It's just,
if
it'll
I
pass.
survive that,
It'll pass.
I can survive this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so so you have this market that just crashed, and we'll make do. We'll survive. And so I was no longer able to connect with program directors. Maybe some smaller radio stations that were in smaller cities, little towns. I was able to still do that, but they don't have the reach of all the major big city radio stations.
And I bet it was difficult with, well, in your case, because you are, your audience is Latin people only. Is that right? Or am I wrong?
No, not really.
No?
No,
Okay.
I reach Latinos. I reach just a variety. Like when we play at the casino, I notice that the Colombianos are there, the Mexicanos are there, the Russians are there, the Italians,
Because even though they don't understand these songs, they like the music, they like the dance,
they like the vibe.
They like the vibe. Exactly.
Yeah. And so we're able to reach a wide group of audience from all over the country, from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
English speaking, Italians, Russians, Colombianos, Venezolanos, Ecuadorianos, pretty much everything. And so I was fortunate enough, and it's been great for me because I'm able to do that. So I played from boleros to guapangos to a few rancheras, polkas, instrumental, a little jazz, cumbias. And you had asked me about how I became a cumbia artist. Well, the reason for cumbia is because when I was with the record company, they don't like for you to not have a title.
A specific,
Because they'll tell you,
you're all over.
Are you a salsa artist? Are you a jazz artist? Are you a cumbia artist? What are you? Choose one. Are you a reggae artist? So that back in the day when, remember Hastings? Remember all these stores that had CDs with titles, salsa and all this, and you would go and buy your CDs from there. Well, that was a problem for record companies. If you didn't have a specific style of music, they can't market you. They'll just tell you,
have to label
come back to us whenever you have one style, and then we'll put you on that category. So and I chose cumbia. I said, I'm gonna be a cumbia artist. I'm gonna stick with it. I don't care, like, if once I'm in front of people and they tell me, hey, play a wapango, do you know how to do this? And it's like,
so
sure.
You're open to whatever.
Yeah, sure,
request,
I'll do it.
But you chose cumbia.
Yeah. Are the producers calling us already?
No, sorry. I'm sorry, I got a message.
I'd like to send a shout out to all the producers producing this show. Thank you.
They're already watching this and they want you in the Grammys. Like, where's me?
Yeah, and so that's how I became a cumbia artist, and it stuck. It's just I was able to. There's so much. I mean, we could take 5 hours, talking about music
we can meet
industry.
again and talk about this because this is fascinating.
For a lot of artists out there that have not had the opportunity to learn the music industry, it's crazy. Like, when you're starting out, you'll have your CD, say your first single. You don't know any tricks on how to get your music to the radio station. You don't know people. You don't know what's the next step. Okay, you're recording your music. What do I do now? I spent you spent a couple of $1,000, $10,000 into your production. What's next? And so for once, more than likely, you have not decided what style of music. You just chose those couple of songs because you liked them and you recorded them.
But I think it happens to almost talking about artists in general.
Yeah.
I think it happens to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Filmmakers, painters, because once I'm there, but you finish something and you're like, what am I gonna do with this? What do
Exactly.
I go with this?
So
How do you do it? How do you break into
unfortunately,
that? Like,
and that's hard because I think there should be somebody. We should in New Mexico. We should have a workshop where all the young artists that are starting out, coach them what's next once you record a song. You know, great, you're an amazing artist, you're an amazing singer, but what's next after you record your single? Know all the ins and outs about the music industry. How do you get in? How do you promote your music? Vamos a mandarle saludos a Emiliano. Emilio.
yeah.
And I think that we should have that kind of workshop. So just to coach the new generation, coach the younger artists that are coming out because
That's a struggle because I know few musicians in New Mexico and they're so gifted, they're so talented,
Mhm.
but all they do is like perform in bars.
yeah, I
They
mean
put their stuff on YouTube and on Facebook. But
it doesn't matter what you perform as long as you're surviving, as long as you're making music. But also, you know, you have to learn the business end of music. It's a business. I mean, like I said, we could go hours and hours with this because not only there is it's politics, it's promotions, it's people that you know, or the people that you know might know other people that might help you out. It's how do you pay your musicians? It's taxes. It's it's endless. I've have fallen on my face a few times.
You're learning about your because I think you represent yourself, right?
Yeah.
And then you have it's like owning your own business. Like
It's a
having your
business.
own,
It is a business. I have fallen on my face many times. I thought I was done learning. I thought I was like, no, it's endless. I'm still learning. I'm still like, wait, I didn't know about this. Wait a minute. So I paid for this and I didn't really need it.
Wow.
You know, it's just. I wish there was somebody or a father figure that would have come to me and say, no, you don't do that, or don't talk to that. That's a scammer. Don't talk to this. Don't give him money. There are people out there that have the luxury of having a position and tell you, you know what, I'm gonna play your music probably in about 20 radio stations. It will only cost you $150,000
Wow.
for 3 months. I have the power to do that. You know, maybe the people that have the kind of money would be willing to pay. You shouldn't be doing that.
No, because it's what from my knowledge,
Yeah.
from what I know, I might be wrong. I think they make money from commercials.
Yep, it's political.
So no music. So
But,
it's like
But it does exist. It exists. Even photographers, photography. You go to a professional studio and the guy tells you,
$1,000 for a headshot.
yeah, $1,000, $1,500 for headshots.
That it doesn't include makeup and hair.
Right, and then if you don't know any better, you would pay $1,500 for a photo shoot, and not knowing that you could actually do your own, makeup. You can.
Yeah, especially now these days with all these filters, lights,
Yeah.
equipment, and so we have it so available on Amazon. We can order whatever and then experiment and try it.
Yeah.
See how it looks like. You know.
Yeah. You could pay that $1,500 and then somebody tells you, wait a minute, you have makeup on your tooth.
They didn't edit the photo.
Wait a minute. It's like, I paid you this much money and you didn't tell me this?
Those little people.
Yeah, so you have to be resourceful. You have to figure out ways how to survive because you don't make that much money in the music industry. We do it because we love the industry, we love music, and yes, there's money to be made, but it's not easy. It's not simple.
No, it's the
a
same in the film
process.
industry, the same with any artist, like
Right.
painting, this and that, and I admire going to the galleries in San Antonio. Like, wow, over $1,000 this this frame, which is gorgeous, but I wish I can support, but
You can't. You
yeah,
can't.
and when they sell something, they celebrate it. I just went to Santa Fe a couple weekends ago, and the lady just sold a picture, a painting from
Yeah.
and then she was just so excited. I'm like, how often do you sell? Like, not as often as she would
Yeah.
like.
A lot of those artists have to survive on that one sale for say 2 months, 3 months.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't happen as often.
So which that brings in my head this thing about how to be smart, how to create a budget, and how to spend your money, because most artists are really good at it, because we know that we don't know when the next check is gonna come. So
Yeah.
it's like, which is a good skill to learn, how to not get in debt and debt, and also like how to manage your money more like wisely. I think.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, and save as much as you can, because you never know when
The low season, the high season.
high season.
What is
Yeah, in January I don't work hardly. I mean, I'm working because I'm doing all the paperwork for the year that I worked, but January there's not really much going on. Maybe I'll get 1 or 2 gigs here and there, but not really.
Where are you performing now these days?
Our next performance is going to be at San Diego Casino on the 17th and 18th of February. So that's our next one, and then
Actually, you perform there a lot. I think you do New Year's, right?
yeah,
New
we
Year's Valentine's Day, all that stuff.
we've been with Sandia for approximately at least 7, 8 years. But, it changes too. I'm sure once management changes, contracts end, and other doors open. It's just the nature of the business.
It's
That's what it is.
exciting, I think.
But it
Like,
is-
not
it
to
is
have
exciting.
to do the same thing over and over again.
Right. And then we get to travel a little bit as well.
Yeah, no, you also do every year the Halloween, right? The Halloween?
Oh yeah. We again, COVID came and that ruined it for us. There was no longer. We used to play for Texas A&M once a year, and that's gone. Hopefully,
That's
maybe
gone?
they'll start. Yeah, we haven't done it since COVID. We haven't done it in the last 2, 3 years. So hopefully that will come back.
Do you have a website?
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna need some help. Brighten it up and liven it up a little bit. I'm not really good with technology. It's one thing. It's my weakest point in my career. But yeah, we have a website. It's MickyCruz.net or MickyCruz.com. I own both, so whichever one.
Okay, so if you guys want to check his work, go to Micky Cruz, which is spelled Micky. Right?
Correct.
Cruz, Cruz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if anyone wants to hire us as well, we have.
For quinceañeras, weddings, birthdays, what else? Bring it up. Divorces. Oh, now they're celebrating divorces, so
Right.
I want to call you.
So we have. I'm gonna give you my number. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Producers okay with that? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Emilio? I'm just kidding.
So yeah, MickyCruz.net or 505-710-5829. You can call me there, 24/7. And of course we have the Micky Cruz Facebook. There's a fan page that I hardly connect with. I tried, but so both of them are available to anyone that wants to.
And
Check out our
remember, next
information.
weekend on February
17th and 18th.
and
next
18th,
weekend.
he's going to be playing at
San Diego Casino.
So I might want to stop by and dance.
Yeah, of course.
I'm inviting
Of course.
myself. Thank you so much for sharing your something so big and something that inspires people to,
To
reach
kind of-
their dreams.
Yeah, I just kind of makes you realize, and appreciate the things that we
Nobody
have.
has it easy.
Yeah. We all have
Everybody
our
goes through something,
struggles.
right?
We all have our
Yeah.
struggles, but it's great to share.
Yeah, And I appreciate that. And I'm gonna be uploading this interview on my YouTube channel. Subscribe, Carmen Dalman. I love to say Carmen, the card, full of men as a joke. And that way people just don't forget my name, Carmen. And my last name with H, Dahlman. And to listen this interview. You know what, Mickey? I would like to redo this interview in Spanish for your Latin audience, the ones who don't speak English. And I think we are gonna do better because it's our first language. Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
And,
anytime.
So you have a couple singles because I remember seeing your CDs. Actually, you gave me one CD. I still have it.
We have a total of, I would say, about 7 or 8 recordings.
Any new songs?
Some of them are not printed; they're not available, but we do have a couple of them. They're on YouTube and Spotify and pretty much every social media or social.
So people can find you on Spotify as well.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, Sony, something. It's pretty much everywhere. You just have to look up Micky Cruz and listen to it.
Do you want to play something?
Play something?
I see the guy right there hiding in the corner.
Let's see, what can I play?
Something like
I didn't fix my nails, so now it's like.
okay.
I think I'll just play something for you, but at the casino. Come check it out.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
because my
right.
nails are getting in the way.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you wanna tell your audience or tell the people that are watching this interview?
Yeah, of course.
Any advice, any tips, anything you would like to survive?
As always, I greatly appreciate your support, your friendship, and to all the people that have been part of my life in the past and present. Thank you. Because of you, I have survived and continue to do music. Thank you so much to all the radio stations, all the internet radios that are helping us now, because back in the day that didn't exist. Now we have options. Thank you.
Nice, Mickey. Okay. So I hope to see you soon. And I guess the message here is like, fight, and always look and reach for your dreams. Don't get, doesn't matter what life brings, what bad things life can bring you to you. There's always a way out. There's always people that can help. So don't hesitate. If you're homeless, for example, don't hesitate to ask to get out of there. You can do it. Because if he can, I could. You can. Well,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.